You ever get that feeling that the stuff you own is just designed to break? That your wallet is always a little bit lighter from replacing things that really should have lasted way longer? Well, guess what? You're not imagining it. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the hidden systems, some 100 years old, that are built to turn you from an owner into a permanent consumer. So check this out. It's a tale of two products. On the left, that's the Centennial light bulb in Livermore, California. It was switched on back in 1901, and it's still burning today, still. And on the right, well, that's a modern smartphone. If you're really lucky, you'll get about 3 years out of it before the battery just gives up or a software update bricks it.
So what happened? Did we just forget how to build things that last? The uncomfortable answer is nope. This is not some accident of progress. It's a very deliberate design choice. It's a business model based on failure that was perfected a century ago, and it pretty much runs everything we buy today. To really get why your expensive new gadget dies so fast, we've got to go back, way back, to the 1920s, where two completely different industries basically laid the groundwork for our entire throwaway culture.
Okay, the whole system really kicks off right here, with these two moments. In 1924, you've got the world's biggest light bulb makers forming a secret club to solve a big problem. Their light bulbs were just too good. They lasted too long. And at the same time, General Motors was looking at the Ford Model T, which was built like a tank, and thinking the exact same thing. These two events created two different flavors of the same poison.
The Phoebus Cartel, that's the light bulb guys, they invented what we now call planned obsolescence. See, their engineers were making bulbs that could last for over 2,500 hours. And for business, that's terrible, right? No repeat customers. So this cartel officially agreed to engineer worse bulbs, cutting their lifespan down to just 1,000 hours. They even fined their own factories if their bulbs lasted too long. I mean, think about that. They were literally punishing quality.
At the same time, Alfred Sloan over at GM, he took a different route, a more subtle one. He knew he couldn't just make cars that fell apart. So instead, he decided to break your satisfaction with the car you already owned by rolling out the annual model change. You know, new colors, sleeker headlights. He made damn sure your perfectly good 1923 car looked old and dated by 1925. He weaponized our ego, our social status, our desire for the newest thing. And just like that, psychological obsolescence was born.
Okay, now let's fast forward to today. You're about to see how that old foundation has been built on in some pretty wild ways. Those two original blueprints, break the product itself or break your satisfaction with it, they've evolved into a much more sophisticated set of traps in our modern economy.
And this is today's playbook. We've got software that locks you out of your own phone or even your tractor if you dare try to repair it yourself. We've got subscriptions for things we used to own, like heated seats in your car. Laptops are literally glued shut, so you can't do a simple battery swap. And then there's fast fashion, where clothes are sometimes chemically designed to just fall apart after a few washes.
All of this leads to a really fundamental shift in what ownership even means. The argument from these companies is that when you buy their product, you're not actually buying the physical hardware. No, you're just buying a license to use their software. And that gives them the power to control, to slow down, or even to turn off the very thing you paid for.
Now let's take this whole idea and apply it to the biggest purchase most of us will ever make. What if the most powerful form of psychological obsolescence isn't about your phone, but about where you live? What if the American dream itself is a script designed to make you feel dissatisfied with a perfectly logical financial choice, like renting?
Come on, we've all heard this, right? It's like a cultural mantra. It's a belief that's so deep we feel like we're failing if we aren't homeowners. We're told we're just paying someone else's mortgage. But is that really the whole story? Let's break down the actual costs.
So this chart here shows you where your money really goes in those first few years. Look at that massive purple slice. That's your mortgage payment. And almost all of it is just interest going straight to the bank. It's not building your wealth. Then you've got property taxes, insurance, maintenance, all those things. And what are you left with? That tiny little sliver of actual equity. Everything else is money you will never, ever see again. So by definition, it's being thrown away.
And here's the kicker, the uncomfortable truth. When you add up all these unrecoverable costs of owning a home, you often find that you are throwing away just as much money, if not more, than a renter is. You haven't escaped rent, you've just renamed it. Now you're paying it to the bank, the government, and the hardware store.
But honestly, the biggest cost isn't even on that chart. It's the one you can't see. It is the opportunity cost of your down payment. That huge chunk of cash, which is now locked up inside the walls of your house, it's basically dead money. It's not out there working for you. So what could it have been doing instead?
Sure, some housing markets get hot, but historically, residential real estate as a whole barely beats inflation. Now compare that to the broader stock market, which has historically returned an average of about 10% a year. The difference in your potential for growth is, well, it's staggering. That same down payment, if it were invested instead, could be generating real, liquid wealth. It could potentially double every 7 years. That's the hidden cost, the wealth you're not building, because your money is trapped in a single illiquid asset.
Okay, so how do we fight back? How do we push back against all these systems? From our toasters to our homes, it really takes a fundamental shift in how we think. It means adopting a true ownership mindset, not just being a consumer.
So what's the game plan? All right, step 1, reject the scripts. Run your own numbers. Don't just follow the cultural pressure or the dream. Step 2, prioritize durability. Buy things that are built to last and support the right to repair movement. Step 3, avoid the subscription trap. Fight for real, actual ownership. And finally, step 4, and this is the most powerful one of all, invest the difference. Build your wealth in assets that actually grow, not in liabilities that just drain you. Ultimately, it all boils down to this one question. Are you truly owning your assets and building your wealth, or are you just consuming the products and the lifestyles that have been sold to you? The choice isn't always easy, but you can't win a game you don't even know you're playing. Now you know the rules.